This is the BK Lounge Podcast. Welcome to laughs, love, and crazy debates by your two favorite hosts, Burt and Kenny. Join us in talks about military life, relationships, golf life, and so much more. Your new favorite place to come hang out on Sundays. Introducing the BK Lounge Podcast, a Burt's Beat Studios production. And now your hosts, Burt and Kenny.
Well, hello.
Hello. Those lights are bright.
Do they seem bright?
I look white.
Let me see what I can do here real quick. A little too bright today on
What's going on, everybody?
on the old episode 3.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that better?
I'm bringing some color back.
Is that better? I need to get some different lights for just the podcast.
Yeah.
So I think we're too far back for those. We need like ambient lights that hit the white ceiling and just illuminate the entire room. Those are more like spotlights, I feel like.
I still think you say ambient, I say ambient.
Ambient?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Crazy.
ambiance?
That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
Huh.
Ambiance and ambient are the same.
I don't
word.
think I've ever heard anybody call it ambient.
Might just be a me thing. But
Interesting. No, but I understand
go
where I see where you're getting
ambient.
from.
It always gets me. You say it quite often too.
I love ambient light.
That's crazy.
I love ambient light. Our whole house is ambient lit.
Yeah. What's everybody been up to?
Happy Monday. Welcome in.
Happy Monday. We still haven't updated our
Intro. Sent the man a message. He says, yeah, I'm backed up. Okay, well, we're prior customers.
Should we go with a different voice?
Oh, yeah, should we have a whole new... Ooh. Might be... Yeah, we might be able to do that.
What?
Just going to be more expensive.
Why?
Because he'll be able to just fix that one word in his recording and send it back to us. Instead of having it fully re-recorded kind of thing.
Well, it's up to you guys. You guys need to up the viewership, up
Yeah.
everything, and then we can afford a new intro that doesn't say Sundays.
Yeah, that's true too. We always could use AI.
Or one of us could voice it over.
That's true. We both could voice it over. Back and forth. Each get a line. New intro all together.
That would be silly, crazy, funny. Ha-ha.
That would. But welcome in.
Welcome
Episode numero tres.
Trace. Nice.
You know why? You know why I just went a little Spanish there?
Huh.
Because Josh just entered the chat.
There she is. In her glory.
In her glory.
The one and only.
The one and only. But yes, we are on episode 3, season 2 of the BK Lounge Pod. Last episode, we talked a lot about being a team.
Team players.
What would our team name be if we had to name ourselves?
I don't know. The fact that we have a podcast that is based off of us and our team and...
The BK team?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just BK?
Yeah.
Team name, check. But yeah, last episode we talked a lot about being a team, what that kind of means to us, why it's important in our, relationship and our goals and where we're trying to go in life. Because again, without that, team mentality, a lot of obstacles.
We would fail.
We would fail. Just like a team that doesn't operate as a team is a bad team.
Yeah.
A losing team, like the Broncos.
They stink it. Oh, honestly, both teams stunk. I'm not going to lie.
It was kind of a boring game.
It was a boring game. The second game was
The second game was great.
very good. But that's also like a rivalry game.
Yeah.
They faced off. Seahawks and... I'm pretty sure the Seahawks and Rams were the first game of the season. Or was it the 49ers? I don't remember. One of them. But it's the same type of ordeal. But very, very good football last night. The earlier game, it wasn't looking great for our Patriots.
They turned it around.
No, it just started dumping snow.
Right.
And
they kept talking about the weather, like camouflaging the Patriots as if that was like a extra barrier.
it is.
But it's also an extra barrier for the actual Patriots.
Yeah.
Because if Drake May's looking downfield and all he sees is white and his guys are in white, because they kept saying like, oh, it's it's bad for the Broncos. It's bad for the Broncos. Hell yeah, it's bad for the Patriots too.
Yeah, but they didn't. As soon as they were up, they weren't focusing
No,
on.
there was very little passing once
Yeah.
it started to snow.
Yeah, it wasn't about that. It was about maintaining the lead.
Yeah,
But Seahawks are taking it this year. That is crazy news.
that is crazy news.
And that is quite sickening to me.
I know, and we have our ripped Patriots flag out front that is just torn and tarnished, but we can't take it down and we can't replace it.
Nope.
Because if we do, that's bad juju.
Bad juju. We can't.
And when they win the Super Bowl, we're going to have to leave it and put it back up next year in the same tarnished state.
Exactly.
Because that's the kind of stuff that happens, and we can't allow that.
When the day comes next season, when they lose, we'll bring it to the VFW
Why are we talking about the Patriots losing?
next year.
Not worried about it.
Well,
Not worried about it.
It's kind of hard to maintain that. I'm a realist.
I was seeing TikToks all over today of people being so mad that the Patriots are doing well because they're undeserving of having a good quarterback again this soon after Tom Brady left. People are like, no, when you lose like the best quarterback in the NFL, you don't deserve a good quarterback for 10 to 20 years after.
I don't care what anybody says because there's a lot of great quarterbacks in the league, and that's all I have to say to that. Is if your team has a good quarterback, that doesn't mean anything. You have to have a good coach. You have to have a good offensive line. You have to have good defense. You have to put it all together. I'm just saying.
No, I agree. And like my thing, and I get it, and like
it's hard to be a winner, and you are all jealous that we're winners because we're a good team based off of our last episode. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, great tie-in. That was phenomenal. You just took the Patriots going to the Super Bowl and tied it back into us being a great team and last episode.
Yeah, exactly why we went into the
good.
the points on the notes.
That was good.
Good playwright right there.
That was a good playwright. Have you been talking to Andrew?
Huh?
Have you been talking to Andrew?
Yeah.
Love that.
No, but it just irks me. People are like, "Oh, the Patriots are back on top." Yeah, we're back on top, player. What's it to you?
Be better.
Choose a better team. Join everybody else's bandwagon.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. And I'm not a football guy. And you know what kind of gets me about like post-game stuff and when you win, sectional this, sectional that, and when you win a Super Bowl, and I get it because they're kind of the figurehead, they're the one that's, the quarterback. But they're always like, "Oh, let's talk to the quarterback. Let's talk to the quarterback." And they're like, "Oh, yeah. But what about everybody else?" Like, if I was a quarterback and they were interviewing me, I'd be like, "Well, it wasn't all about me." And then I'd grab, like, a lineman or something for an interview. Like, yank him in. And be like, "Talk to this man right here. Another key part to getting us here."
Or what about our defensive line that are catching interceptions and making the whole game yesterday was based off of our defense.
That's right.
We would have lost without the defense that we had.
And no person at ESPN or anywhere wanted to talk to any of them.
Drake May wasn't the star of the show.
Exactly. And they're out there chanting MVP, which great. Hey, he's great. But, like, what about the other boys on the field?
He is going to get MVP, but still.
The Seahawks coach, not the Seahawks coach, excuse me, the Rams coach was up and down in a press conference saying that what's his nuts, their quarterback. He's like, there's no shot that he doesn't get MVP of the year.
Stafford?
Yeah. He was like, I have respect for everybody else, but...
No, it's neck and neck. That's the whole point. It's all based off of regular season and what they did. And Stafford had a great year.
And then the reporter was like, well,
he's an old man.
Back? Yeah, he's like, you're gonna let him play if he wants to play next year? And he's like, what kind of question is that? If he wants to play football, yeah, great. Like, what kind of question is that? He was fired up. He was fired up after last night's game.
But they lost,
Rightfully so.
It doesn't matter. See you next year.
Rightfully so. But I'm excited, and as soon as the Patriots won last night, I immediately thought of, okay, what are we going to be eating on the Super Bowl? I almost texted the family chat being like, pizza and Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
I don't like pizza.
I just have so much fun making them.
You can be slinging pizza out in the garage. It doesn't bother me.
I'm going to start cooking them for the neighborhood. I'm going to put a sign on the mailboxes that every Friday at from 4 to 6 p.m., I will have the uni at the edge of our driveway slinging pies for the neighborhood.
Do you think that you would do just as good if you did them solo? Long dramatic pause.
I don't think I have the patience for getting the dough ready and putting it on there. I like the spin, the check the underbite, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, you and your sister killed it. You made it very easy with like having the pizzas ready and just throwing them in there. And I was nervous at first about, getting it off and on the peel and, rotating it. But man, those things you pump out quick. And I'm like, next dough. And then Katie's like, oh, I think we're good. And I'm like, I want to make more pies.
Yeah. You know?
I think we need to get Justin involved again on going to farmers markets and having like a little pizza spot.
You can convince that man to do, honestly, really anything.
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be phenomenal. I would really, really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would. But yeah, second episode of season 2 is all about talking about us being a team, why it's important, some topics like finances and decision making and savings and all sorts of good stuff we kind of dove into on why it's important to be a team, because again, without having those conversations and those back and forths of learning and understanding each other can make for a very, very challenging conversation on trying to get to mutual goals, solo goals, all sorts of good things. But yeah, rolled right into the Patriots winning.
I'm jazzed. I had people like, it's so funny because if you're a true football fan and you've bled the colors of your team your whole entire life, people respect it differently. Like, I had people texting me being like, congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl. Like, I'm going to be there.
Like you were on the field.
Yeah.
Like you were Drake May.
Yeah. Like, I had Julie texting me and being like, congratulations to your team. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, see, this is huge. This is great. Like, one of my best friends, she's a huge Eagles fan. And so we were going back and forth all game. And she was like, this is so good for you. I'm so happy. I'm so jealous. I took advantage of it. And I was like, my Aunt Tam, she texted our family chat and was just like, congrats, welcome to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, welcome back, first of all, because she's a Chiefs fan. She thought that her, team was the team of the new century of New England. It's not. I've been saying that for years. They've had a good run. I think they've been very lucky. I think they also have a great coach that has led them to that.
Yeah.
But
everyone just puts everything on Mahomes. Like he is the golden NFL ticket to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. He's just a quirky quarterback.
Yeah.
But no, it's so good because if people watch football and you get football, you understand what it is to have a team and live and breathe. Live and breathe for what they're doing, winning or losing. Look at last year's record for the Patriots. The past 2 years. It's just the past 5 years, really.
Stink bug, yeah.
Stank.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so good to be, it's good to be back. And granted, being a New England fan of any source is we've been very lucky. Been very lucky in my lifetime. I saw a video and I've had about 25 people send it to me. But it's this girl and it's being 29 years old and what my life has looked like being a New England fan. And it's every 1 to 2 years is Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, which I'm not a Bruins fan, Celtics, and then Patriots, and then
yeah.
But it's a lot of winning. It's great. It's good to be from the Northeast, baby.
But then you think about it on the other hand too. You think of the Red Sox, how long it took them to get back to what they are, and they still struggle here and there. But no, yeah, even the Bruins. I mean,
but I think of my dad because my dad raised me as a Patriots fan, right? So I get all of my love for the game and the Patriots from my father. But with that being said, he was in a completely different realm of time before we were such a great franchise, right? So he was previously where it's we'd make it, we'd lose. We would lose. We would lose. We would lose. We stunk. We would lose. We'd make it, we'd lose. But,
Yeah.
and then it got into the 20th century and we started winning a lot. A lot.
A lot.
But I don't care. I don't care what people say. They can be haters. They can be sad.
And everyone's like, oh,
and I know you're going to watch the game.
bandwagon.
I know you're going to watch the game. But there was what is the Thanos?
Yeah, with all the rings.
Yeah, the guy with the rings. I saw a meme today, and it was like Thanos of like embracing his powers, and it's like all football fans remembering their hatred to the New England Patriots, like just absorbing like the energy back in. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what we need. That's what we thrive. People hated us for so long.
Yeah.
Because we were a successful team.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
And they're back. And we were kind of worried we weren't going to be able to watch the game.
Yeah.
The Snowmageddon or whatever, the Stormageddon, what everyone was calling it. Mm-hmm. People were freaking out.
Tweaking. And we had both vehicles filled with fuel, because if that was the case, we'd be getting into our vehicles with our dogs, and we would be watching the game in there.
Because we were the forecast where we are just outside of Charlotte was initially looking really bad, like 8 to 12 hours of just like nonstop freezing rain at first. That was what the forecast was like we were expecting. And us being from the Northeast, like, we're not worried about it. We're used to feet of snow, ice storms, whatever it may be. So like we aren't necessarily worried. But then again, everyone around here is freaking out, and the infrastructure down here is very different.
Right.
Very different. Like, way less plows. Like, I saw a statistic last year, Mecklenburg County spent like $40 million on salt for like the winter season, and they estimated they used, I think, like 1.2 million of it, and the rest just, was sat by the wayside. And, like, there's way less plows here. The power lines are not like, and again, this is to my knowledge, is the power lines here that are above ground don't have a specific type of casing around it that can withhold heavier weights like freezing rain and snow, which can cause for power outages. Mm-hmm. And that's what we were expecting the most of was, if we lose power, it could be a hot minute, especially with the length of time that the forecast was supposed to happen, the lack of infrastructure, and the power grid that we were on. We were expecting that we could have no power for a hot minute. So that means obviously no electricity, no heat. We filled up our bathtub full of water so we could flush our toilets if it came to that. Like, my parents were jacking up their heat, and they had their cabinets open underneath the sink so the pipes hopefully didn't freeze. People around here were running their water to make sure pipes weren't freezing. And thankfully, it ended up being, a couple hours off and on of freezing rain. Yeah,
and I mean, it was bad, like, in terms of you couldn't go anywhere.
Right. We can drive in snow. Southern folk can't.
But I mean, even we can drive in snow, yes, but there's nothing to prep the roads. There was nothing on the roads. Like, I don't think that it would take us a hot minute just to get out of our road.
Yeah, with the ice, absolutely.
With the ice that we had, because we had less than a quarter of an inch. Because if we did have a quarter of an inch, I don't think that we'd be doing the podcast right now.
No.
But we did have a quarter of an inch and less than a quarter of an inch, which just created the roads to be terrible. Like, everything around us was frozen in terms of like even our HVAC was running hard.
Yeah, I was struggling. That was also my big fear of, like, when it would turn off and it would be good at the heat in the house. My worry that something was inside of there was going to freeze and not be able to kick it back on.
Yeah. But no, it was, I mean, it is a little bit worrisome. Like, granted, what we went through in Vermont and in the Northeast is obviously different, but, like, our houses are prepared for that. Our pipes are prepared for that. The roads and the towns and the cities are all prepared for that. And also, you already expect it. Like, you have a buildup of it. It's
Like,
not
you know
like,
it's coming.
yeah, like, all winter long, it's not like you're waiting for one big snow. It's like you're getting snow all the time.
All the time.
So it's just one big moment for the South.
And again, the forecast made it out to be way worse, especially in our area. Obviously, different areas of the country got hit super hard.
Yeah.
But like, I went to the grocery store, I think twice within like 2 or 3 days of when the storm was supposed to happen, and it was busier than it was on like Christmas Day. There was no water, there was no bread, there was no like paper products like toilet paper, tissues, stuff like that. And people, like, there was an elderly woman in the water aisle, like, screaming, like, I need water, like, when are you guys getting in more water? And people ended up giving her like a case of water because there was no water.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I saw TikToks of people at like Lowe's in line waiting to like swap out propane tanks.
Yeah.
Like, I got a propane tank, an extra one in case we needed it for, cooking on the Blackstone, but that wasn't a problem. But no, people were expecting, the worst. And I went to go look for some like sidewalk salt just for the driveway, and everywhere I went, they were out of it. And the guy at Home Depot actually was like, well, or Walmart, and he was like, actually, if you come with me, and he showed me 2 different options. He's like, we're out of rock salt, but these are 2 possible, fillers for it. One was a water softener that was like huge cubes that you could break down, and then the other one was pool salt for saltwater pools. It's literally just salt. And so I did some research of my own, and the water softener one would work not as well as the salt. So I grabbed a huge bag of pool salt just in case, and it was like $6. The sidewalk salt that would probably been a quarter of the size would have been, $12, $15. So I grabbed one of those, and there was an elderly woman who was like, you seem to know more about this. Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, honestly, I'm going to grab one bag just to have for our house. And, if it's really bad, maybe throw it out here and there. But, I was like, if I was you, I would just stay inside. I don't think it's going to be as bad as they, say. Obviously, if you need to be around your house, then maybe use it. But I was like, definitely don't use it in your backyard on any patios if, you have pets, because it's not good for pets. And then it's not great for cement. But again, we would only be using it for a day, maybe 2. So it's not like it's constantly getting it, because it can obviously do damage to cement. But I grabbed one bag for, $8. And as I was walking out, people were like, oh my God, where'd you get the rock salt? And I'm like, oh, it's not rock salt. It's actually pool salt. And told them about it. And they ran in and grabbed it, because they're like, oh, we're on our 4th store looking for some sort of salt. But people were ready and prepped, and still, even with the forecast, people were still going out. There was a wreck on the interstate with a tractor trailer that had the interstate a little ways away from us closed for like 8 or 10 hours. And it can be dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's different. And I mean, were we worried? I wouldn't say that we were worried about, what was going to happen in terms of what was going to fall from the sky and what that would do. It's more or less of like, how is it going to affect our home?
Yeah.
And like, thankfully, it's like, I think of people that like, if you have, like, I think of my boss. He has 2 girls, very young. So it's like, one of them has a lot of allergies. One of them had the flu. The other one's young. And so it's just like, if you have kids, it's a little bit different. And also, if you're older, it's a little bit different. Like, that was the things that we were preparing for. Like, he has a generator, and he took our work microwave that was a compatible wattage to his generator, because he was like, if we lose power, like, we're down bad, because his daughter's allergic to like milk, eggs, like all different types of stuff.
A ton of things, not just like 1 or 2. Like, she has a lot of allergies.
Yeah, she has a lot of allergies. So like, she has a diet that's limited to like a handful of things. And so I get it. Like, because she has like this, there's like a specialty chicken nugget and meatballs. And like, that's how she gets any source of protein. She's 5 years old. So it's like, I get it. Like, even Britt and Kyle are 2 good friends. They have a 1-year-old they went out to Wilmington, where his parents are, because they weren't going to get anything bad. But, like, they were like, our biggest concern is just losing power.
Yeah.
And not having heat and not being able to heat up a bottle or do stuff like that. It's just...
On top of that, like, just, like, the what-ifs of, like, okay, like, yeah, we're prepared at home, but even, like, you and I, if something happened to one of us and we needed, like, just help, like, oh, we can't get in the truck and drive on this ice. We won't be able to go anywhere.
Right.
And then also thinking of, like, well, if we can't, how easy is it going to be for an ambulance to get over here or a fire truck? Like, I literally thought of our downhill entrance into our neighborhood of, like, if that ice is over for days at a time, we know somebody's going to come in or out of the neighborhood. Like, what's to say someone's going to come and turn in, not be able to stop and hop up onto our front lawn kind of thing. Like, I saw a TikTok where it was talking about Mecklenburg County specifically, but 92 or 93% of their police vehicles are rear-wheel drive vehicles.
Right.
So it's like, how the heck is a police officer going to get anywhere? And it's just like...
But, like, that's also why, obviously, you talk about major cities, you talk about cities that are not equipped for what they were projecting to have. But, like, I think of New York City as, like, they thrive in that weather. I think of Boston, they thrive in that weather because they're expecting it, they're prepared for it. But, like, I think of Charlotte goes into a state of emergency because they have to. There's literally
no other option.
There's no other option. So that I get it, and it's different because, you know, we have our family, and we're all like,
hunker down, get some snacks.
Like, can we all hang out? But like, in all seriousness, is like there are people that have to think more proactive, and like, who's to say, like, if that were to be us and say we had a kid.
Right. That'd be a whole different thought process.
Or like, I even think of, like, I have friends that are like to term pregnancy.
Right.
Imagine being at that point of pregnancy and being like, oh, my
water broke.
My water broke. It's time to go. And then you can't go. And then what do you do? Like,
right.
That would create sheer panic.
That's a lot of anxiety for sure.
But like, it's interesting to see the difference between what we did growing up. Like, I remember, like, we would prepare, you know, you get your house ready, you get your food ready. I remember, like, even my mom, who owned a business, preparing her business and our home, and also my dad. My dad is in HVAC sales and stuff like that, so making sure people had heat, making sure people had hot water, making sure, like, all of the things that everybody needs, especially in the coldest winter months,
right,
to get through something like that. Because you could call him, he could be at home taking a house call, and nobody can get out there, and you're without heat during.
Right.
Like,
I remember when I first got my license, my parents, like, I had a milk crate, and it had, like, a blanket and, like, extra, like, little supplies in it in the trunk of my car. Mm-hmm. For literally, there's, like, you just kept it in your trunk in winter, and, like, a lot of people at school, all of us had something in the trunk of our car, and the car I had in high school was actually rear-wheel drive. So every winter when I had that car, I would go before the winter season hit, and I would get sandbags, and my trunk would, you know, have 4 to 5 sandbags in it just to give it some more weight in the back for added traction. And that was, like, normal. That wasn't like, oh my God, winter's here, like, what do we got to do with it? That was just what we did.
Not me. I had a rear-wheel drive and
whip that thing around.
Yeah, and then I blew the transmission because I got too crazy in it.
But do you remember, like, it'd be like a Sunday or something, and back home in Vermont, we'd be getting pounded with snow.
Yeah.
Like, pounded. We'd get, like, 1-2 feet of snow, and everybody's like, oh, come on, snow day, come on, snow day, come on, snow day. Wake up the next morning, you're like, do we have a snow day? And they're like, nope, buses are running, like, no, school's on, go to class.
I remember I used to get so mad.
And we'd always blame the superintendent.
Yeah.
Always blame the superintendent.
Be like, oh, he walked out to the end of his driveway, didn't see anything, and we're all going to school. But no, like, I think that, like, my nephew doesn't have school tomorrow, and today got to 40 degrees. All of the ice melt here in South Charlotte, and I'm like, what do you mean he doesn't have school? And then my other nephew, who's in pre-K at a private school, also doesn't have school. And they're like, oh, freezing temperatures overnight. It will allow for people to, you know, stay safe at home so they don't have to drive in. And I'm like,
Which
What?
again, in the South we get it, but it's just like we compare it to being back home where we'd get
The roads were dry by
feet
this
of
afternoon.
snow. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
I cleaned my car today. We had my car inside because it's a smaller, more compact car, and I was like, I'm going to just clean my car. It's nice out. I have the garage doors open. I vacuumed it. I cleaned the interior, and I'm like, all right, well, we're ready for the week. But
Yeah. I remember being so mad. So mad.
Yeah, I would get so upset. My mom was like, okay, get your boots and your jacket and your hat on. And I'm like, I'm not wearing a hat. She's like, you're wearing a hat.
And I remember going to leave school when I could drive, and my car would be covered in 6 inches of snow.
Yep.
Like, we'd be getting 6 inches of snow while we were at school, and it was like, all right, drive home safe. Mm-hmm. And that was the norm. Like, buses were running, and I'm like, we get so mad as kids. So mad as kids.
And what was even worse is a 2-hour delay.
Oh. Just a waste, because then you would do nothing all day in school because the blocks were shorter.
Yeah.
Half the teachers didn't make it in because none of them lived in the area.
Oh, I would get so mad. It was like 2-hour delay. I'm like, what are we delaying for?
Yeah.
What are we delaying for? Granted, it gets to a point where, like, especially up north I don't know if you know this, but, like, the year is shorter.
Yeah.
Down here, the year is longer.
Yeah.
And, like, granted, we didn't have as long as breaks and stuff like that. But, like, here, kids are in school later and get back into school earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm always, like, up in Vermont, that's not the case. Not the case at all.
And I remember my parents being like, well, you keep wishing for snow days. It's just going to go into your summer. And I wouldn't care at that point because I'm just like, I want a snow day. I don't want to go to school. And then, of course, the years that we had 4, 5, 6 snow days, and we're like, oh, my God, I can't believe we're going. We got to go to school this week. We should have been out by now. And it's like, well, you had a week and a half of snow days this winter. So it's like, it is what it is.
I forget what the amount was, but do you remember the St. Patty's Day snow day? It was like the week of St. Patrick's Day.
What year?
I don't know. I feel like I was very young. I think I was in middle school, maybe even elementary school.
I don't know.
But I remember it was like they didn't even plow our road for almost 4 days. There was like 4 feet of snow. It was like at my head.
Yeah.
And I remember because Katie was back at home, I was home, Tate was home, my parents were there, but we had a 4-wheeler, and where we grew up was in more of like suburbia town of Vermont. Is like we weren't out in what everybody believes Vermont to be. And we had a 4-wheeler, and I remember me and my brother, we would rip that thing around our yard. Our dogs wouldn't be able to get through. Like, we would have to we had a snowblower. We would snow blow paths for the dogs.
We did too. My dad would shovel the deck, and then a square, and then some paths for them to run around in.
Yep. And so we would go out there, and we'd be out there all day long. But I remember it was so tall that we couldn't actually play in the snow because it was above our heads.
That's crazy, because we lived in a cul-de-sac growing up, and when the big plows would come through, we were right in the middle of the cul-de-sac, so the big plow would come through and just make the roadway. So they would throw all of the snow in front of our house and the neighbor's house. So my dad would get up early on days it was snowing and try to get like as much as he could out. And on the weekends, what we used to have to call like the town and be like, hey, can you send a smaller plow out here to dig us out because of the big plow, and like the snow blower, it was just too much snow, and half the time it was all slush from the road or whatever. And
you would call the town?
We'd call the town. And they'd send one of like the pickup trucks with a plow on it to plow out the cul-de-sac, because there was one,
how do I see that? Like, I can definitely see your parents calling.
Yeah,
this is the town of Colchester, Vermont. Can you send out a different plow?
Because 9 times, well, we didn't call a lot, because 9 times out of 10, a small plow would come after the big plow and do the cul-de-sacs of our neighborhood. Because we had like 4 cul-de-sacs just in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they would come and clean them out and make it more doable, because us and the neighbors, they'd go out in the mornings.
It's all about knowing the right people.
And one of my good friends growing up, his dad was the public works director.
We
who
had
also was right by a cul-de-sac.
We had a lot of people that did like actual plowing for private companies and stuff. And now eventually my brother plowed all the way up until he moved out to Montana. But I was like, I remember my dad and there would be days where like if we had a snow day and my parents were going to work, those were the best days. But I remember my dad would call us and check to see if the plow had come past a certain point, because then nobody could get into the driveway, and we had an upslope driveway.
Yep.
And it was long. Like, we had a snowblower. We were very blessed and thankful for that. But we had a cobblestone path, and it was our responsibility to clear. Hated that.
Yep.
Hated shoveling anything about it. But I remember we would have to go, especially if my dad was like, your mom's on her way home, make sure the bottom of the driveway is clear so she can put in and I would look out the window and be like, I am not doing that.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
But we would have to clear out a path for my mom to be able to, and we didn't have that much time. From the moment my mom left work to the moment she got home was 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was saying, it wasn't far.
Nope. And so I was always like, really? And he'd be like, go now. And I'm like, by the time I even put anything on.
She's already halfway home.
Yeah. So I'd get my brother. I would bully my brother pretty good and be like, Dad wants you to go and shovel the bottom of the driveway. Mom's on her way home. Really? Yeah. I'll meet you out there. I'll help you. By the time she was pulling down the road, I would be walking down to the end. It looks like both of us were doing it. I was so manipulative to him.
See, that's the thing. We had a 2-tier deck on the back of our house that was like pretty much like the length of the house, and my dad always made me shovel it. Mm-hmm. And I would, in my mind, I'm like, well, the dogs. You always yell at the dogs for peeing on the deck in the winter, so why would I shovel the entire deck? And he's like, it doesn't work like that. You shovel the entire deck. And then he would come out with a snowblower and do a chunk right off one of the steps, and then he'd do paths for our dogs then. But yeah, I used to hate shoveling. Shoveling.
We used to have to do the deck too. We had the same thing because we had a pool. The best part is we never did we had a 2-tier like this, but the top one was an enclosed for the pool.
Yep.
And so we would only have to do the main one that both of our doors went out to. And my brother was usually the one in charge of that.
Yeah.
But then we would throw all the snow off of one side, and then we would just jump off.
Did the same thing. Yeah, winters are very different down in the South. Very different.
Yeah.
And like people were sledding. Like your boss and his kids, they went sledding.
Yeah.
On the ice.
There was a chunk in the day where it wasn't like hard ice.
Right.
We did get a good dusting.
Crispy.
First thing in the morning, and then it started to like sleet, and then it got to be very firm ice.
Is it bad that I was kind of like wanting like the power to go out for like 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah, it would have been misery.
I wanted to like get some of the fake candles from the proposal and like play a card game or something.
You could have asked me to play a card game.
Yeah, but I wanted like the whole lights out vibe.
You could turn all the lights off. We could have turned the TV off, could have turned the lights off. You know?
Yeah, we could have. Can we play Coup with 2 people?
Yeah, I just don't think that it would be that good.
Why? Because you'd win every time?
Well, like, how are you supposed to play? Like, you can, but it's just...
Not as in-depth and fun, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 2 lives every single time.
That's true. With 2 people. That's true.
I want you to get good at cribbage.
I know. We should look at getting like a good-sized board just to have at home.
Oh, yeah. We could do a lot of things. We have a lot of games.
We do have a lot of games. But yeah, we survived the storm.
We're survivors of the ice storm of the South.
And we say we survived is because back in the 90s in Vermont, there was a terrible ice storm.
It was actually a very, very bad ice storm.
That hit New England and Vermont. And the ice storm of 96 or 98? 98. Power was out in our county for like 2 weeks. Like it was bad. I remember we had one gas.
My brother was 4 months old.
Oh, that's rough. we had a gas heater in our entryway of our house that was not even close to anything, and that thing was just humming the entire time. Granted, it didn't heat up anything, but I remember sleeping in like our living room with me, my parents, my brother, my sister, our dogs. Like
I don't remember it.
I remember it like I remember wearing like 2 pairs of sweatpants, a long sleeve shirt, a hoodie, a jacket, and then like our house coat robes that we had when we were kids, and just being in the dark constantly. The power was out for like literally ever. Like it, and that was the thing. Obviously, up north, once you get ice, you need it to warm up, and in the wintertime up north, it doesn't warm up. No. It don't warm up, so you can't get rid of the ice, and
it don't warm up.
It don't warm up. That brought all the old Vermont back in me there, but no, very different.
I don't remember it. I was 2, but my sister likes to say that she is the '98 ice storm survivor.
Yep, people legit said that, like back home in Vermont. Like, yeah, no, I survived the ice storm of '98. Because I think, unfortunately, a lot of people did pass away from...
No, it was very bad. Very bad. And I mean, like, in that circumstance, too, is not even just power and stuff like that, but you get ice on your vents of your house. You can get them on your generator.
Yeah.
If there was a bunch of houses that caught on fire.
Caught fire, yeah.
Carbon monoxide poisoning, like...
People trying to get on the roads, car crashes, like just elderly folks, young people, like dangerous.
Yeah, Joss said, get that Vermont out of your mouth. Like dirty mouth.
Dirty mouth, old Vermont. But yeah, no, it was a gnarly storm. I do remember it. I remember waking up the day we lost power and my mom yelling. I don't know why it's like a core memory, but all I remember is her yelling, get your house coat. And I'm like, what? And she's like, get your house coat. We don't have heat. And that was the beginning of the old ice storm.
Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that it wasn't as bad, at least here. I know that it's been bad in some other places. I know, like Texas.
Yeah, I mean, when I was streaming on Saturday morning I streamed, Renee posted a picture in Discord outside of her window, and there was like, it wasn't like a little dust thing. Like, there was legit snow.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Texas is
that is a place that is not ready for any level.
Mm-mm. I remember when we went to San Antonio for an interview.
Yeah.
For my interview, they had just completed their club renovations at a club that I was interviewing at for their previous. I forget what it was called. Anybody from San Antonio would probably be able to say it, but they had a freeze, and it busted the pipes.
Yeah.
It damaged infrastructure.
Yep.
Like full gut.
Yeah.
Of the clubhouse, and they were just finishing it when we went.
Yeah, I do remember that.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's no joke, and like I'll take a super hot day where you're just inside, can't really do much, and like have a heat advisory, versus being like,
yeah, because
if I get an ice or a snowstorm and I'm gonna be freezing cold, without power, without food, without water, without like absolutely. If my house is gonna give up on itself, I'm not gonna do that. I don't like playing that game.
No, I agree. Because I feel like there's less power outages with heat. Obviously, there can be some sort of issues that heat causes, but it's not as predominant with like ice and snow.
Right, for sure.
Because with the amount of ice that we did get, I wasn't worried about the power going out because of the ice.
Yeah.
My initial thought was, if we're going to lose power, it's going to be because of an accident. Because that stuff happens all the time in Vermont.
Right.
It'll snow and power will go out in a portion of town because somebody gets into a car accident, it hits a telephone pole, a transformer, and knocks out power in our area.
Yeah.
But to take a quick second, a good friend of ours, Point of No Return, because again, we do film this live on Twitch every other Monday. Our good friend, Point of No Return, came in here, subscribed to us for 6 months in advance, and then drops a 10 gifted sub on us.
Bang.
Bang-a-rang. Point of No Return, thank you so much for your subscription and your 10 gifted subs to us over here on the BK Lounge podcast.
He needs us to get a new intro.
He wants us. He's helping us out getting a new intro.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
our intro is jacked up since we changed from Sundays to every other Monday. So, point of no return, 10 gifted going towards the intro update. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for that.
Absolute.
But yeah, we survived the storm, and we did get it right in.
We did get it right in.
We love that. We're very excited about that. Kenny saw it earlier. I came off a stream and told her, hey, yo, we got a write in, which I was very excited about.
Said, I already got you, playa.
She's like 2 steps behind. So with that, if you're watching us on Twitch or you are listening us back on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, we have a Discord where you can join. And there is a text channel in there that allows you to put in topic ideas for the podcast, whether that be, random topic ideas, questions for us. Maybe you're in a situation and you want some input or advice or thoughts, general questions. We love write-ins because it gives us an insight on, maybe what you've got going on or, what you want us to talk about. And obviously we are here for all of you guys, because we want to interact with what you've got going on, what your thoughts are, what your questions are. So please take the time, write us in, message us on Instagram, whatever it may be, send us an email, carrier pigeon, postcard, any type of write-in we take.
Yeah, send your birds.
Send your birds.
Why not?
But not your falcons, because they're going down. Ooh! Burn.
It's a Seahawk.
Oh, shit.
Come on now. Don't be embarrassing me like that.
Yeah, that was embarrassing as hell, actually.
But we
Yikes.
had Gloriana write in, and she asked, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in your career right now?
Do you want to go first?
Nope. I go second.
Okay.
You go first.
And I was thinking about it when I was getting the podcast ready. I think the biggest challenge that I think I'm always going to face in this atmosphere of being a full-time content creator is constantly trying to stay relevant and grow. Because if you're not staying relevant, you're going to lose viewership, you're going to lose subscribers, you're going to lose revenue, which obviously is my job, and then always continuing to grow. Because again, I think with, staying relevant comes growth, and if you're not growing, I think you lose that. Mm-hmm. And without being relevant and without growing, I think is always something that's going to be in the back of my mind as a challenge. But then also another challenge I think of is like, the game that I play has been out for 10 plus years. It's getting kind of old for people, so staying relevant in that space, but then also that transition to when the new Grand Theft Auto comes out this year in November. Mm-hmm. A challenge with that is it's not available on PC. So when that comes out, I'm going to have to get a PlayStation or an Xbox, splice it into my current setup, and hopefully stay relevant with the millions, hundreds, tens of millions of people that are going to be playing it and also streaming the storyline of it. Because, why would somebody watch me over someone else that is playing the same storyline that may or may not have a lot of different flux to it?
So... and we talked about it a little bit earlier when we were having dinner, but I would ask this of you is how are you preparing for growth and how are you preparing for the changes of what your career is going to be?
I think it's, again, thinking of new ideas, whether it's new characters. I've been playing a lot in the, ambassador server over at the Academy. So meeting new people over there, getting new storylines over there, new characters over there, offering a variety of different things, so it's not the same character, the same storyline. But then also they're coming out very soon with a zombie survival server. Mm-hmm. So that's really exciting because then that also breaks up the repetitive nature of 5M, the game mode that we play, and offering a different viewing experience and gameplay than what is done every single night on so many different streams. So incorporating that into the stream, whether it's in the mornings or the afternoons before I get into the actual role play side of it is something that I'm excited for, and I know a lot of other people are too. And again, it's a great break. I love playing different games on stream, but obviously mm-hmm. a mass viewership is for 5M, and I think the zombie server and in the change of pace there will only help people kind of get through the time until the new Grand Theft Auto comes out. And, with that, having different challenges for when the new Grand Theft Auto, if there's, a difficulty setting, or if there's, side missions to try to do and achieve at a certain time, or whatever it may be, or, letting chat interact and choose the path that we go on in the story mode, depending on how it's laid out. There's a lot of unknowns with it, but honestly, I think the biggest challenge is making things interesting enough until the new game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's easier. I think it's easier than what I'm making it out to be, because again, this game has been around for 10 plus years and is still relevant. So what's another year kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know nearly enough about it. I think everything I know is through what you do. And I feel like a lot of people, like, there's, like, majority, when you talk about percentages, your largest percentage are people that are just watching, right? They're not actually the ones that are streaming, that are, that this is their full-time job. Things like that is, like, the stress that comes with all of it. But I think that there's so much more to it. And, in terms of the game and, like, what game and the differences is, that game has been around for such a long time. No matter what version of it is, I think that it will always be.
And that's the great thing about the Academy, is because all the stuff that they constantly do to bring new stuff in for us, a new zombie server, something new and exciting, and with all the organizations and the fundraising that they do, like, that's very impactful, and people are drawn to that and want to help make a difference. So that only helps, so many avenues of staying relevant and continuing to grow, because we are, meeting new people, having tons of new followers, new faces, new people involved, whether it's just the server or on the actual, stream site itself. And I'm very lucky and blessed to have, the Academy and to be a part of it. And, they make it really, really easy to stay relevant in a sense, because of all the stuff that they're constantly working on and being a part of, and growing so many people that in turn help me grow, that I help, someone else grow, and they help someone else grow. So it's a great product of just success, really. And it's huge. It's huge.
Well,
but we'll see.
Yep.
Less than 11 months until GTA 6 comes out, unless it's delayed again.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to come out in May. Rockstar, if you're watching, give me a copy early. Let me stream that. They did give a terminally ill guy,
I saw it
somewhere, I think in the UK, early access, which I thought was a class act. Thought that was very cool.
I did see that.
Thought that was very cool.
But yeah.
What about you?
Biggest challenge that I'm facing in my career
right now?
I don't know. I think it could go both ways, because my profession is, I'm a golf professional. I work for a private facility, and I have a bushel of responsibilities.
Big bushel.
A big old bushel of responsibilities. And I learn a lot, and I learn a lot every single day. Is if it comes from managing people, to managing myself, to planning for a department inside of a private entity, teaching or playing or customer service, anything that it comes with, I think is a challenge in itself. But something in terms of my career right now is my education. My education is one of the biggest hurdles I'm facing right now to get me to a certain point, to get me to a certain classification.
Yeah, explain the education piece to him just a little bit.
So to be PGA Class A certified, so to have my name, it's almost like getting a PhD or something like that. So it has my name and then comma PGA behind it. It really just creates more opportunity, and also, I don't know, the PGA is something that it's hard to explain in itself, but the best way for me to describe it is like going and getting a master's degree, or going and getting your PhD, or like
within that career field, right?
Yeah. Within the specialty that you're focusing on. So I would say that's usually my biggest challenge, but in terms of the people, I think it will continue to be my biggest challenge, but my most accomplishing thing is the more I learn on how to deal with people, is because it could be from the staff to my staff to the clients to anything, is just the people are the biggest challenge, is because there's people that don't understand. And I'll use an example is I am in the process. I do majority of the purchasing of merchandise for our club. So in terms of what the position is, it's a merchandiser. So you buy, you sell, you receive, you do everything to create a profit for the club. That is my responsibility. We have 7 interclub teams, so I won't get into really what that is, but each team has anywhere from 20 to 40 players on their team, and I have 7 of them. They all have to get new shirts at the beginning of the year. I explained the whole process to all of the teams, kind of put them together. I literally wrote an email today. It took me quite a bit of time, and I attached my boss and one of our assistants on it, and I pretty much just put it all out there, just as clear as day. And there was 8 guys on this email chain, not including the staff, and the guy wrote back right before we started the podcast saying thank you to the 2 other guys. Not the
Not
staff.
Not from the person who wrote it?
No. And like stuff like that, like when I say it boils me, it actually boils me. And I would say that that's one of my largest challenges is it's not a lack of respect that I feel for myself or that I feel that is given to me, because it's really not based off of majority, but like the people that get under my skin because they don't respect me, because maybe I'm a woman, because of my age, because of who I am, my personality, my assertiveness. I never really understand, and I try not to overthink it, because being a female in this industry is already kind of sets you aside and puts you into a little small percentage. But I never look at it as that. But there's moments where it's just infuriating because they don't appreciate it. And that's my whole purpose of my career, is to service the people in a way, with putting myself second, putting them first. But there's a lot of times where I've learned where sometimes I have to be the bigger person. I have to put myself in front of what they say and how they treat you. So in terms of that being one of my greatest challenges, I think that will always be a challenge.
I feel like it makes it more challenging because it's not like those groups and like those specific things are your only responsibility.
Yeah.
You have a million other things going on outside of that singular instance or task or objective that I feel like only adds to it.
Right. But like, in terms of that, it's just, it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of the most respectful shit talkers you'll ever meet. In terms of like, you want to slight me, I'm going to compose an email that's going to make you think for about 4 days, just for how you made me feel in that current moment.
And it'll be the most well-written, most professional email ever, where they'll probably do like a quadruple take of like, wait, what does this mean?
And like just the underside of it is just a big like, hey, by the way, fuck you kind of deal. But that's more or less of like who I am, is like, you're not going to make me explode. You're not going to make me fold. You're not going to make me crippled.
Right. You're never going to be disrespectful.
But I will make a point to make you feel like the littlest, smallest human being you've ever seen or felt in your life. And I take pride on that. And like, I say that lightly because I do manage a lot of people. I have a lot of people that work underneath me. And I try not to take that mentality into how I manage.
Right.
I try and be probably one of the most understanding
Well, right, and make
managers or bosses as
because it's not like you're out here ripping people's heads apart, being an awful human being. No, not even the slightest.
But and like that's also how like I teach some of the assistants. Like I think of one of them in particular. He's very new to the industry. He just graduated school. He's up and coming. He is going to be a great professional. He bleeds it, right? Yeah. He went to school for it. But sometimes, like, the teaching of, like, you got to take a step back, take a deep breath, and as much as you want to scream, as much as you want to throw hands with these people, right. As much as, like, you want to shake them and be like, are you dense?
Right.
You can't. Right. And so you have to you can fight fire with fire, but you can't be the one to show the fire.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's probably one of my favorite things to teach is being like, it can upset me, and it can visibly upset me. It's like, I'm not perfect, I'm human, and I also preach that to the guys around me, is like, there will be things be like, did he really just say that to you, or did they really just do this? And I'm like, yeah. And so, like, it's one of the things where they can see me do that, but, like, I never want it to be, like, a thing where it's like, she's going to do that of me, where they fear me, where they don't come to me. Right. But, like, I try and create the, like, safest space when it comes to having conversation. Like, there's people that drive me absolutely crazy that work for me. They drive me nuts. They drive me to drink, almost. But it's like, I still have to show up as an understanding, respectful, listening ear all the time.
And that makes a good boss.
So it's like, you got to play devil's advocate. And I think that's just one of the biggest challenges of my job and my career. And I think that no matter what level and what the tenure is that I do this, I think that will forever be one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah. And if you always kind of keep that in your mind, you know to constantly keep working on it and never let it go by the wayside. So that's obviously very good to have.
And don't get me wrong, it gets exhausting. And our season that we are in the Carolinas, at least, we start April and we go all the way through October. It's long. It's a long season. And we never really stop.
Busy season.
That's our busy season. So we never stop, but you catch me at the end of October, I'm pretty beat up, pretty tired, don't have much of anything in me to keep really going or compose it, and what I do have left, I exert it in my 8 hours that I spend at work.
8 hours? No way. You're spending double that some nights, a lot of nights in the busy season.
But at least I get to shut the door and have nobody bother me in the end of those Absolutely. Hours. But just to put on a face.
Yeah. Professional one at that.
Mm-hmm.
After all of that. But no, we appreciate that write-in very much. We hope it gives you a little insight on what we've got going on. And again, if you've got write-ins, if you've got questions, if you've got anything, please let us know. We sometimes will have kind of an open forum on a podcast night for write-ins and all that jazz, so keep that in mind too. But if you write in, it'll most likely be talked about on the podcast, so always keep that in mind. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, subscribe to us over there, follow us on Apple Music or Spotify, whichever you prefer. And we thank y'all for spending your Monday night with us on the BK Lounge podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. We'll be back in 2 weeks for Episode 4.
It'll be after Valentine's Day. Yep.
Kenny's most non-favorite holiday of the year. And we'll probably get into that next episode.
Uh-huh.
Any last words, Kenneth?
Love you. Bye.
Y'all be good. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This has been the BK Lounge Podcast with Burt and Kenny. We hope you enjoyed your time diving deep in on wild topics, listening to crazy stories, and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week live on Twitch. Be sure to check out our website for all our social links at www.thebkloungepod.com. Y'all be good now, and we'll see you next time.